what includes, but absolutely not limited to, and make some noise if I say something you like, Van Helsing! Iron Fist! Public Enemies! 300! Elvis! Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man Telling No Tales! The Lord of the Rings. He's going to join us to discuss this fantastic career and take some questions. CollectiveCon 2025, please welcome David
Wenham.
Hey! Hi, welcome to Jacksonville.
Good to be here.
Oh, so good to have you here. Oh my goodness. So, the way I usually do this when I have a one-on-one like yourself is I like to go into the origin story. So, what made you want to become an actor?
I used to be a very naughty boy at school. I used to spend most of my time outside the classroom. And it was actually the parent-teacher night that my parents went to. And one of the teachers said, look, I have the class in the palm of my hands, and then your son will say something, you'll do something, and then the class go completely wild and I can't do anything about it. And he said, have you ever thought of sending your son off to acting classes? And that was when I think I was 13. And then the next Saturday, I was enrolled in acting classes, drama classes. And that's how it started. And I started with Nicole Kidman. Way back then.
Wow. That's good day too. Since it's the big one, let's go into this. How did Lord of the Rings come about for you?
That's all good. That I have to go back and sort of remember how they came about. I screen tested, but you're going to say which role did you screen test for? And it was, I can't remember.
It was the guy with the sword.
That's right.
Right, yeah, that guy. That was my favorite.
Yeah.
Oh, why didn't you get that? Oh, man.
I know, yeah. So yeah, I honestly can't remember what I did screen test for, but then I was cast as Faramir. I think because I looked a little bit like Sean Bean. With those very big noses, so yeah, perfect.
There was a resemblance that passed as siblings.
Yeah.
And you could do worse than having a resemblance to Sean.
Yeah, completely.
No, Sean looks like you. That's
exactly. The funny thing about that is that we finished filming all 3 films, and neither of us had met. Yeah, so it was only after we shot all 3 films, and then it was I think before Return of the King was, we went back for pickups, and then we shot the flashback scene. That's now in the extended version. But that was after we shot all 3 films.
Okay, yeah. And what an adventure that was. Both cinematically, I mean, we've done back-to-back sequels before, but no one had ever attempted, no, we're going to do the whole thing, one massive shoot, and everything else. We've had John Rhys Davies up here on this stage, and just, what was the craziest day you had on a Lord of the Rings set?
Oh, I don't know about the crazy.
Not crazy, good, bad, however you interpret it.
I just think the most amazing day I remember was Peter Jackson. And it's the only time I've ever seen anybody do it as a director. And he had this big it was like a lounge chair that he used to sit in, and he had all the monitors up in front of him. And he was directing 6 units that were operating around the country at the same time. So he was directing the main unit, and then he had banks of monitors whereby if there was an action unit maybe 200 miles away, they'd record the rehearsal. They'd beam it to Peter would look at the thing, give them notes and whatever. There'd be the miniature unit that he's doing. One day he directed 6 units at the same time, which was just like incredible.
See, when you think of like a comic book mastermind, you think of the guy on the screen who's the minions, and he literally was.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Like we did a little bit of that orc in the background, move him to the left, give him a different sword, and fix her hair.
Yeah. That's exactly what it's right.
Absolutely. So, well, again, thank you so much for being a part of that. I mean, it really was. It was. Everybody thought that it was the unfilmable, or if it was going to be filmed, it was going to be tepid at best. But you were a part of that miraculous thing, and it was just a wonderful conjunction of talent, both in front and behind the camera. And just thank you for that.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I'm the lucky one.
So other work, I mentioned that you were in a movie that I really adored, Elvis.
Mm-hmm.
That version of Yeah. And I thought of that too. So yeah, how's an Australian yourself end up playing an American country western?
That's an interesting question, and what it is that's actually the fourth movie I've done with Baz Luhrmann.
Yeah.
I did a Workshop Romeo and Juliet with him. I'm in Australia. Moulin Rouge. So I've known Baz for a long time, and bizarrely, the whole of Elvis was shot in Australia, which is incredible. And Baz, he's very loyal to the people that he's worked with over those years. It was incredible actually. Tom Hanks was the first COVID case in Australia. And so it was right at the beginning of the shooting of Elvis. So the film shut down, and it shut down for 6 months. But I think it was actually a blessing in disguise, because Austin Butler decided to stay there, and for 6 months he worked like a maniac, becoming Elvis, the singing, the dancing, the movement, before the film started shooting again. So yeah, he had 6 months of extra preparation, and he was extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary.
No, I think it's a wonderful film. It's a great. Nowadays biographies, they kind of want to show the underside, and to me, it's the best film about all the mythological characteristics of Elvis. And it's a great feel-good movie.
Yeah,
it doesn't harp on the end or everything else. It alludes to it, but it goes to there. So yeah, thanks for that. What I thought this was a curiosity. Tell us about Jerry Springer the opera.
Wow. that is a curiosity, because I think it was like an amateur version done here. I don't think it's ever been professionally done in America.
The past 10 years, there's been a lot of fringe shows and stuff like that. Evil Dead the musical. There's a lot of independent stuff, but this went the full Monty.
Yeah, it was. It's called Jerry Springer the Opera, and it is. It's an opera. It's a musical whereby, and I played Jerry Springer at the Sydney Opera House for 6,000 people every night. And it's a fascinating, you can look it up on YouTube or whatever and have a look at it. The first half of the show is literally the Jerry Springer show, whereby all the people on the show, whether it's a guy who likes to poop himself in a nappy, or Ku Klux Klan member or whatever, it's just bizarre stuff, and it's all sung. So Jerry, and it's all done to music. Jerry actually speaks his questions to the music, and all the responses are actually sung back. And then at the end of the first act, somebody tries to kill one of the people on stage, and they miss, and they shoot Jerry Springer, and that's the end of the first act. And then it's interval, and the second half of the show is it's sort of set in purgatory, and it's a fight between God and the devil for Jerry Springer's soul. And I've got to say, it's extraordinary, because that's really crazy, and it ends up being an extremely moving piece of theatre. And the music in it, especially in the second half, is absolutely extraordinary. But I don't think it's never been professionally. It was a huge hit on in the West End in London quite a few years ago. That's why it came to Australia. But I don't think it's been done here.
No, not done at that capacity. So absolutely, like I said, it's floating around out there. Check it out. And you recently did a sequel to a movie you did 20 years ago with that character. Yeah, tell us about that first movie and this new version of the character.
This is a weird one, because this is a film that I don't think anybody in this room would probably know. Does anybody ever heard of a film called Getting Square? No, I didn't think so. It's a movie that I did. I shot it 23 years ago, and it ended up becoming. Not many people saw it at first at the cinema, but then over time, people found it on DVD, and then there was an illegal version on YouTube, and it became in Australia a huge cult classic. And I play a small-time criminal.
I've heard it described as an Australian equivalent to Reservoir Dogs. Something that was a sort of sleeper hit, but then not necessarily but that arc of people discovered it.
Absolutely.
Check it out.
Yeah. Like that, or Princess Bride was another one.
Yes.
It completely bombed at the box office, and then over time they found it. Yeah, I play this guy who's he's a junkie. He's a junkie, small-time crim, but he's got a heart of gold, and it's very funny. I literally shot a sequel or a spin-off to it, The film's called Spit, because I play a character called Johnny Spiteri, known as Spit. And that's just been released back home. It's very, very out there. I'd be fascinated to know what an American audience thought of it, actually.
It blipped on me when I was like doing my notes on you, so I do it in 10 CFOs. So it's on there. And
it's pretty wild.
Just because 300, that's a movie that kind of got Zack Snyder the ability to do Watchmen and do his DC stuff as it is. What was that experience like? Because that was kind of the first movie that really pushed the envelope of green screening and just all this stuff. Lucas had kind of dabbled in it, but I think everybody really took notice with 300. So what was your experience?
It was interesting because when I was cast in that role, and I hadn't met Zack before he cast me, and he rang me up. I was in Australia and he was in Los Angeles, and he rang me up and he said, and I bought the graphic novel, and I'm thinking, oh my god. And then he said, yeah, have any questions? And I said, yeah, Zack, I do. I said, look, I've got the graphic novel and I can see that basically all I'm wearing is a pair of leather underpants. And I said, and we're filming in Montreal in winter. I said, how's that going to go over? I said, it's going to be a little bit cold, isn't it? How's that going to work? And he laughed for about 5 minutes and he said, no, it's all going to be in the studio. It's 100% green screen, which is pretty amazing. So literally, the whole thing was shot in the studio. All the people were real. The fighting was 100% real, but there was no environment. So that all got put in later. But yeah, everything was raw. The fighting, whatever was real. It was amazing actually working on that film. I absolutely loved it. Yeah.
So did we.
Yes.
Yeah, it was cool. It's good to look at that film and go, oh yeah, I was fit once upon a time.
Doing too, so. I'll leave it at that. I'm sure this audience got some plenty of questions about your other stuff, but before I do that though, I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for your talents and your professionalism and all the performances you've done in your roles. You've done some really, really good and enjoyable work, and thank you for that.
Thank you.
Alright, who wants to start us off? Like I said, we'll kind of go right here. We'll make this, you okay? I can have him go through here if you want. Okay, you good? Okay, good. Alright, come on, Russ. Hey, what's your name?
My name is Joseph, and I'm such a big fan of yours. If you had to go back to one movie, which one would it be? Somewhere in the Lord of the Rings realm, or Pirates of the Caribbean, or Australia?
Yeah, no, I'd probably go back to Lord of the Rings again, actually. Yeah, I'd love to revisit that. I'd love to, I would. I'd love to go back there. Yeah, it was amazing.
Who wouldn't?
I'd go back there. Yeah, flick that switch, please.
Hey, what's your name?
Hi, my name's Fred, and my question is, I was wondering if you could choose an actor to work with again, or who, like, your favorite actor to work with was, who would you pick?
Whoa, Ren, that's a really tricky one. Oh man, that is so hard. Who were you saying?
Nicole Kidman.
Nicole, I worked with Nicole a few times,
Right.
I think 4 times, I think. Nicole's great. It's so hard. I don't know. Okay, look, I'm just going to pick one out of the air now and just say I'd love to do something different with Andy Serkis. And he's a lovely guy and extremely talented. There's so many. That's the great thing about it. The lucky thing with what I do. There are many good talented people out there.
Hi. Oh, there we go. Hi, what's your name?
I'm Kavita, and I had a question about your Lord of the Rings, when you acted over there. I had a question about, it wasn't expected that it would be such a masterpiece as it is and how inspiring it is. What did you feel when you found out about, or like when you realized that it was such an inspiring piece?
I've got to be honest, I think we all had an inkling that it was going to be something pretty special. The main reason why was because of the source material itself. It's like those books were they're an incredible piece of literature and they were so beloved already. And when we arrived there, we saw exactly what Peter was doing and the scale of it and the incredible amount of people that were working on it. we sort of thought this is something pretty special. And even back then I thought the size of this film, as long as I work, as long as I live, I don't think there'll ever be a film as big as that. And I think now as well with technology, films are made completely differently. So back then it was all real. It was like, you know, the sets were built, all the people on screen, pretty much they're all real. They're not, you know, extra computer generated things. So I think, to answer your question, I think we had an inkling that it was going to be pretty special. But the fact that however many years later, here I am talking about it, that I did not think was going to happen. So that's pretty cool actually. And the fact that the films, generation after generation, are embracing them, I think that's pretty neat.
It is the exception to the rules, but I do a fair amount of these. It's a very common question. Did you always know it was going to be a success when you made it? And 99% of the time, they're always like, oh, we had no idea.
Yeah.
But this one, I think, everybody was just like,
it's the books, and then as soon as you arrived and saw what Peter was doing, it's like, yeah, this is actually something pretty cool.
Absolutely. Great question. Thank you. Hey, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Adam.
What you got?
In a duel between your character in 300 and Faramir, who would win?
Jesus, man, that's really. Oh man.
And could you act it out?
Faramir and Dilios, man. That's hard. Yeah, you just can't kill either of them, really, can you? I don't know. I think you'd have to say to be a tie. I don't know. Who do you think, just out of interest?
I mean, that's just as you're saying, it's a tough one. They're both excellent duels, but I gotta go with 300. I think they're just more trained to fight, you know? And while Faramir did survive,
Yeah, you probably did. Okay.
I'll go with Faramir because the smart are good at fighting, but they fight as a unit, as an army.
This is one-on-one.
And Faramir one-on-one is more of a classic D&D adventurer sort of type thing. So
That's right.
Faramir
was good with his as an archer as well. So he could probably pop Dilios' eye out from distance.
So Dilios is holding a knife. It's like there's a guy next to him with his shield and the covering and the formations.
It's a very interesting question.
It's a good one. Thank you. Hey, what's your name?
Chris, it's an honor to meet you.
Hi. Chris.
So my question is what's it like being in an action movie where you get to hack countless people to pieces? Like in Lord of the Rings, you got to hack a lot of orcs. 300 got to hack a lot of Persians. What's that like?
Well, man, it's fun. I tell you what, on Lord of the Rings, there was because obviously all the orcs were pretty much played by a group of stunt guys, and each one of them played 100 different orcs, and they died God knows how many times each. But there was one battle that we were doing, and Faramir was hitting this orc over the head with the sword, and the guy who was playing that orc said, "You gotta come on, man. You gotta come down harder on me. Come down harder." It's like, "You really?" He said, "Yeah, come on, right down harder, man." I said, "Do you really want me to do that?" "Yes, just as hard as you can." Bang! Under his head, and I split his head open. Not too bad. He did go to hospital, but he asked for it. So it's fun.
Sorry about that. One of the agents is all. Another question about the panel. All right. Hey, come on over. Hi, what's your name?
Cassidy,
What you got?
I have a question for one of Australia's sexiest men.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was in 1943.
Do you prefer doing roles that are fantasy-based or like Lord of the Rings action-based like Helsing? Or do you like stuff like working with Baz or doing films like Hell?
All of the above, really. There's one area that I don't dabble in very often at all, but it's actually one of my favourite things, and that's actually doing comedy. And the film that I mentioned, Getting Square and Spit, both of those are comedies. And that's what I really love doing, but hardly ever get to do it, bizarrely enough. My career took a left-hand turn very early, and so I've just been going down other roads. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Welcome back. What's your name?
Lauren,
What you got?
what was your favorite memory filming Lord of the Rings?
The favourite which?
Favorite memory?
Favorite memory? Oh, look, so many of them. Probably scene where Faramir supposedly, or thinks he's going to be riding out to his death. Yeah, that was pretty cool. And the amount of people on horseback and the scale of the scene. Yeah, that was probably my favourite, I think.
What's your favorite?
Yeah.
Like Lord of the Rings in jail?
Yeah.
All of it.
Very Hey, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Erica. I actually had a question about Van Helsing. What was it like working with Hugh Jackman?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he is. I wish I could say something nasty about you, but I can't. He's just one of those people who's generally a really, really, really lovely guy. And I did Australia with him as well, actually. Yeah, he is really, 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 really lovely. Yeah, can I tell you about juicy things? No, I wish. I wish. Yeah.
Lovely is a good word for him.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hey, what's your name?
Hey, you can call me Jay. So, in Lord of the Rings, right? Which is your favorite battle? The Battle of Helm's Deep or the Battle of Minas Tirith? Which one is your favorite?
Well, I think I'd have to say Minas Tirith, but I remember when Helm's Deep was being filmed. Oh my God, that was a unit that was working 24 hours a day. So they'd shoot stuff through the day, and then a completely different set of people would come on and work the night shift and do. So that was literally 24 hours filming for I don't know how many weeks. It was like 5 or 6 weeks. The scale of Helm's Deep was just insane. Yeah.
Hi, what's your name?
Katrina, what you got?
My question is, what was your most awkward experience on Van Helsing?
Awkward experience. I don't know. We spent a lot of time in a water tank filming in more than half of it was shot in Prague. We were there for about 5 months, I think, and then the rest of it was shot in Los Angeles. But yeah, a water tank we were in for I don't know, maybe a week. So myself, Hugh, and go on, her name. Okay, yes, Becky South. Yeah, the three of us were in a water tank for nearly a week, and we couldn't keep getting in and out of it, so we just stood there all day, every day for like 14 hours between takes and whatever, and yeah, we got pretty stupid by the end. Yeah, I remember being very silly in there.
Cool. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hey, what's your name?
Ben, good to meet you. In Lord of the Rings, what was the most difficult part of filming for you?
Difficult part. I don't know about difficult, but I remember the most surprising part was when my horse, or Faramir's horse, dragged him back from battle. And I turned up that day and I didn't realise that I was getting rigged up for something, and I didn't realise what I was getting rigged up for. They put sort of like this back brace on me, and then they literally tied my foot to the stirrup of my horse, and let me. I didn't realise I was doing my own stunt. And then there's nobody wrangling the horse, and so the horse it's like it's a huge leap of faith with a horse. The fact that it's going to go by itself and not break into either a trot or a canter or a gallop and just go in. That was only retrospectively when I thought about that. I thought that was really, really dangerous. Because there was no plan B. If that horse ran, I was just attached to that horse. Yeah. So that was probably the most tricky and surprising part.
Hey, what's your name?
I'm Nate, pleasure to meet you. So, throughout your career, what's been one of the hardest challenges for you to overcome as an actor?
Good question. It's all regardless of where you are on the pecking order in acting, you're basically always as good as your last job. So you're always, regardless of how much you've done or whatever, you're always thinking of the next thing. So that is always the big challenge, to just try and be completely fresh and open and embrace new things. I think that, for me anyway. Yeah, it's a bizarre profession.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining though. I love it, but it's yeah, strange.
Thank you.
Hey, what's your name?
My name's Alex, and my question is, what is your hobby outside of acting? Like, what do you like to do in your spare time?
Okay, two things. One, and I went here as well. Wherever I go, for me, just to escape and whatever, I go to art galleries. Literally just to go in and I wander. So I went to, how do you pronounce it? The I went there yesterday. So, and you know, commercial galleries as well. Yeah, I love just wandering around and having a look at art. So that's one thing. The other thing I love doing as well is I'll go to gardens, whether it be botanical gardens or whatever. I love just walking around them. And when I was a kid, a lot of people always ask, okay, if you weren't an actor, what would you love to do? And I think there's a place in Sydney where I used to go to a lot, near the Sydney Opera House, and it's the botanical gardens there. So beautiful, but all the people who work there were always really happy and content. And I thought, you know what, I'd love to do that if I wasn't an actor.
Great, good, thank you. Hey, what's your name?
My name's Jake, and do you mind if I ask 2 questions by any chance?
That's greedy, Jake.
You go one question, and then you go to the end of the line, and you do it again. So pick one. Pick one at a time.
Which did you enjoy acting in more? Pirates of the Caribbean or 300?
300. Only because it was a bigger role. That's my only reason. I remember that on Pirates of the Caribbean, I took one of my daughters to set one day. It was a huge day with like hundreds of extras and explosions and whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I went, oh, well, I'm just going to introduce her to Johnny, because I'd worked with him on another film before. And so in the middle of this, all the filming stopping or whatever, and I took her over to chat to Johnny. And she's talking for a while, and then all of a sudden she just sort of just grabbed me and said, Dad, can we get back to the trailer? I'm a bit bored now. That was Johnny.
Hey, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Juliana. I have a little question I'd like to ask everyone because it's very insightful, which is that if you go back in time and talk to your younger self and give yourself any piece of advice, career-oriented, not career-oriented, anything, what would it be and why?
Sounds interesting. Don't obsess too much about what you think other people might think about you, because you realise, basically, virtually everyone is thinking about themselves, and they're not thinking about you. So I think that's a good thing, just to like get that off you, and then not worry about what you think people might be thinking, because they're probably not.
There you go. Thank you. Hey, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Tom.
What you got?
So I wanted to tell you first that I know your role in 300 as a narrator required you to be basically the soul of that movie, and you really knocked it out of the park. How hard was it to keep in shape with everybody, since everybody had to basically look like a GQ model?
Well, the fact is we all had to train at the same time all the time. So before we were in Montreal, well before we started shooting, and we had to train like mad every day. So there was 5 lead actors and there were 50 stunt guys, but the actors trained separately to the stunt guys. And so we did this insane sort of training program. And then when we started shooting, even when we were shooting, any downtime, we had to keep training. So it was like, it was constant, but it was great. It was, it was fun to think that, that was our job, to actually, we got paid to be extremely fit and and have fun. Yeah, it was cool. It was really good.
Right on, thank you. All right, now what's the second one?
Oh, my second question?
Welcome back.
I told you I'd be back again, I promise.
Always use the rules, that's all I ask. What you got?
I guess I need no introduction at this point, but I'm just going to say, how's it feel being in Florida? Pretty much America's Australia. I mean, you guys got giant spiders, we got giant cockroaches.
We got big cockroaches too.
Difference is, yours can't fly.
Yes, they can. Come on, come back at me now.
Really? You got one that works too?
What's that?
You got palmetto bugs too?
What bugs?
Palmetto bugs, that's what we call them down here. Yeah,
Tomato. What would I call them in Australia?
Yeah, also you guys got crocs, we got gators. I mean, it's really similar if you think
Yeah,
about it.
who'd win in a croc versus gator? I'd say a croc.
Yeah,
something croc are different.
I mean, Everglades, we got them both, so, you know.
All right, okay, but do you have, here we go, here's one for you. Do you have an irriganji? Do you know what an irriganji is? No.
I might need you to clarify that one, I'm gonna be honest.
We've got, it's a really weird thing. At the top of Australia, it's so beautiful. And it's very, very hot most of the year. And the water up there is unbelievably beautiful. But you can't get in it. At the top of Australia, you can't get in because crocodiles. But on the Queensland coast, you can't get in it. But this little thing, they are so small, they're like a little, they're basically like a jellyfish. They're so small, they're called irriganji, and they will kill you. So that is, people don't realise that is the deadliest animal in Australia, and you can't see it, and you can't swim in the water there. Do we win?
I mean, I've heard about stonefish too. They're kind of
stonefish, but at least you can see that.
Bro, unless you work for the Florida Board of Tourism, just a few minutes.
Okay, once again, the bank of
Hey, what's your name? What you got?
I'm Zach. You mentioned you like Hawkins Gardens, so I've been to the Jacksonville Zoo yet. They got a really nice garden.
Oh, really? No, I haven't. I've only been like 24 hours. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool, thank you.
All right, well,
Yeah.
there you go. Okay, all right. So, last calls? Anything good?
Here we go.
All right, I'll do this room. We'll do it Donahue style. Here's the caller there. Okay. Hey, what's your name?
It's Pete. So, irriganji, is that the same thing as a box jelly?
No, box jelly you can actually see. They're big box jellies. Yeah, no, irriganji are really small.
But the irriganji is more venomous?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Box jellyfish are deadly too, yeah. Irriganji is like, man, you don't, yeah. And the unfortunate thing is with, global warming or whatever, the waters are getting warmer, so the irriganji are actually coming further south out of Australia. So it's like, well.
Well, thank you for all your work, though. It's great.
Oh, thank you.
What's your name?
Stay out of the water.
Eric.
What you got?
Hey, Eric.
Hey, love your work. I was just wondering how unique your accent to be an American accent into our Western side to do that. How difficult is that to prepare and to do and try to understand other parts of the world, to try to adapt to their culture and way of living to?
Well, I think in all honesty, being from Australia, I think it sort of helps in a weird way because we're so far away from the rest of the world. We actually get exposure to a whole heap of different things, and it's sort of easier for us, I think. I know it's a weird thing to like you guys, you hear your voices the whole time. You don't get to hear like my accent very often, an Australian accent, whereas we're exposed to obviously American culture all the time on our televisions and films. We're exposed to English culture a lot through stuff that we see. I think it's just a different thing because we're so small. We get exposure to a whole heap of things, so our ears are more accustomed. That's what I think, but I don't know. That's my take on it.
Oh, fair. All right. Hey, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Michelle.
What you got?
I'd like to ask to get to know people. It's like if you could have a theme song that played every time you entered a room, like what would be the song that was the theme song of your life?
Oh, that seems some of my life. Oh my God! Could you give me like a week to think about that? Maybe that song, the Queen song, "Having a Good Time." What is it? Yeah. Don't stop me now. Yeah, there we go. We can do it. Yeah, don't stop me now. Yeah. Because we're having a good time. Yeah.
Tell you that one. All right, over here. Hey, what's your name?
My name's Jalen.
What you got?
Do you ever think Australians will evolve to be like the animals over there?
Do you think Australians evolved to be like the animals over there? Yeah, I'm turning into an irriganji. I don't know about that one. No, some of us are animals. Interesting question. Interesting question of the day.
All right, keep your hand down, Russell.
No, there's no bad questions. Just
I got time for one more. I will let one of that do that one. By the way, it's a great Tron cosplay. This is one of my classic originals. This is really cool. So, yes, absolutely. All right, well, stand up so everybody can see it. All right. Hey, what's your name?
My name is Courtney. Of all the art galleries, whatnot that you've been to, what's been your favorite artworks or maybe top two?
Oh,
Who do you want us to
I can tell you one here that I saw yesterday in the Kammermuse art gallery, and I hadn't seen the painting before. It's a Norman Rockwell painting, and it comes from a short story, and it's really fascinating. So I don't know if you guys know this. It's like in the corner of the painting, there's a doctor who's got like a white doctor's coat on and a little thing, and you don't see his head really, and he's got like you can see he's smoking a cigarette. And then there's this old couple who is sitting there side by side, and the story of it is and I can't remember where they came from. They decided to take this train trip to go down to see this doctor, and I can't remember from which state to which state. And the woman knew that she had a terminal illness, but she didn't want to tell the husband. And they're going to this doctor and whatever. The husband had a hunch that she did have this terminal illness, but didn't want to tell her because he knew that would probably upset her. And it's just in this painting, these two people sitting there thinking that both of each other didn't know what was happening, and then the doctor with the little cigarette and his thing. It's an amazing painting. It was like, yeah, that blew me away yesterday. Like incredible, the whole story just in one little thing was like amazing.
So, what's coming up on the docket? Any projects you're allowed to share with us?
Not as such. I've just spent the last however long, that film that I did called Spit, I also produced, and it's just been released in Australia, so I've spent so much time on that, and it's just like, oh my God, pushing the barrow on that, and it's just been released. Now I can just go, and then just reassess and think what I'm going to do next. I don't know yet, I don't know.
What's the dream gig?
Dream gig, know exactly. What I'd love to do is be like on a really, I think, an amazing role in a television series where I didn't, just have enough time, not necessarily with lead, but it would give me time to do my own stuff on the side. And then I would write and direct lots of little films. That would be in an ideal world. That's not going to happen, but who knows?
Never say never in this crazy business.
Yeah, that's true.
No, absolutely. And one final question. Do you want to take a picture with this amazing audience?
Yes, I've been wanting to all day.
All right.